Hi everyone, welcome to another video from Data Stream Academy. In this today's video, we are going to cover how we can create an S3 bucket in AWS. So what is S3 bucket? It is simple storage system, which is a storage mechanism which is provided by AWS or Amazon Web Services. Like if you are familiar with Azure, that is Azure Data Lake or Blob Storage, right? So like that in Amazon or AWS we have S3 bucket. So we'll learn how to create an S3 bucket. So since this is the first video, I just wanted to show you how you would log into this account. So we'll click on, sorry, one second. Yeah, we will log in as a root user. We'll click on this sign in. So it will take us to this window where I'll give my email ID. Click next. I'll provide my password. So I have a single sign-on. If you remember if you watched my previous video, I have mentioned there would be a single sign-on enabled. So I have a multi-factor authentication. Sorry, not single sign-on, multi-factor authentication. So I provided that key. So now I have logged into my portal. So we'll be landing this portal. We already have set a billing threshold. So what I'm going to do right away, like I'm going to create an S3 bucket. I have recently searched and tested how this can be created. So what you have to do, click on search. Whatever you recently accessed, everything would be there in the recently visited S3 bucket and all this, right? So I can type S3 here. So you will be reaching this scalable storage in cloud, this thing. So click here. You will be redirecting to console. So we are in like United States, North Virginia. So like I'm clicking on create bucket. So the most interesting part, when you come here, you can also watch a small video what is S3 bucket and all these things, but it will not have the steps how to create it. That is what I am going to cover in this video. So if you wanted to see the pricing, you have this price calculator. So let us go into the creation without wasting the time. So I'll click on create bucket. So it's a storage, right? So whatever we are going to configure here would be related to storage. So there are two types on the bucket type: general purpose and directory. Recommend low latency. These buckets use S3 Express once zero storage class. So there would be details about what it is. So our purpose is very generic. We wanted to store any type of file, right? It's not a hierarchy or anything. So we are going with general purpose. Then we need to give a bucket name, right? It should be unique. So if you see, bucket name should be 3 to 63 characters, unique within the global namespace. Bucket name must also begin and end with a letter or number. Valid character A to Z and 0 to period and hyphens. So some of the special characters are not allowed. So what I would name my bucket DSA learning, right? So my bucket DSA learning, there's very less chance there is such an account which you would be existing, right? So it's going to be unique. So if I already have a bucket created with this settings, right, which I have to fill a couple of settings below. So if I already have it, so I can choose that bucket. See, only bucket settings in the following configuration are copied. So if you choose that bucket, you can copy in the same configurations as like instead of filling all these things. I do not have any bucket created, so I am going next. So there is an object on control ownership of an object written in this bucket from other AWS accounts. And so there are two types, right? As ACL. What is ACL? ACL stands for access control list. You can provide access to a list of members. So that's access control list. Or I can say, okay, ACL is disabled. So all this access is going to be based on policy. So that like policy would be assigned to the users. Otherwise, you can provide a list of users, right? So I'm keeping this as a default. And you can also define like, okay, it's a storage account, it's like a shared location, right? So do I wanted to like have this access from public? By default it is blocked. So when you learn this cloud storages, by default all the doors would be closed, so that like we can make sure that it is security, right? It is secured. But as a user you would be able to enable, you can make it public, you can make it accessible from other region and everything. So there, like if you uncheck this, you have different options. Turning off this block all the public access might result this bucket object with becoming public, right? In case if you wanted to share a data with someone with a link and all, you might be able to use this method. But I'm keeping this, I'm not allowing this public now, I'm keeping it is. But if you are going with public, you got to give some other access control here, like maybe with you have to make sure that the username and password or some validation you have to do on top of that. Okay, so I'm keeping it as I'm not keeping it as public. Then there is an option bucket versioning. So what is bucket versioning? Versioning means that keeping the multiple variant of object in the same bucket. That means like you like loaded a file and you made some changes, you like the versioning, right? You can decide, okay, do I need the version of the file or not, right? You wanted to keep the history of changes and all these things in short. So I would say no, I don't need it. So because we are not going to do any file operation with this, all this I just wanted to quickly take you through these features, create a bucket, and want you to familiarize how this easy this is to create an S3 bucket in AWS. That's my primary goal. We'll create an account, load a file, store a file, and we'll delete the bucket as well today. Okay, so there are tags. So what is tag? So tag will help you to, because think about you are creating so many buckets and you wanted to segregate this bucket and category, right? I can say billing as a tag, and I would say billing should be, this is a learning category, right? So this should be built for this learning category. So if there is another project, I can add another tag and I can say that should be project, correct? And there is encryptions by default. So there is a server-side encryption, server-side with key management. So there are different types of encryption. So I'm going with the basic, like the default one. Okay. Then there is a KS3, KMS key reduced cost. So we don't need to worry about all these things. I'm going with the basic options, and I can also go to advanced and say that do I need to have this locking provision. So I'm not going to enable that. I'm going with the disabled option. So this is all you are giving now. You gave the name. You can also copy the settings, and you can define its public or private. Then you are clicking on create bucket. So it should be pretty fast by default. It's creating. Yes, successfully created. Your bucket has created my bucket -DSA learning. The bucket is ready. You can see this bucket here. You can click on create bucket and you can create another bucket. Bucket is nothing but a storage. So I'm getting into the bucket. I just clicked it. I didn't do anything else. I created that bucket. I clicked on it, and I'm here and I don't have any files, right? So I can do I can create a folder, right? And I need to say, so we don't go that create folder now. We'll upload a file, right? I'm clicking upload, right? So what I need to do, I need to click on upload here. Yeah, you have two ways. Either you can drag and drop, how we would do in other website and all, right? You can drag and drop, or you can click on add files. I'm going to add file, and I have an image which we recently did with ChatGPT. So I selected that file. This is my image file. This is around 3 MB. So then if you scroll down, you will see a couple of options. One is this is where it's going to get stored. It's directly stored into S3 bucket, my bucket. I did not create any folder or anything. So this is going to be stored there, right? That's the destination details. So you know, like I didn't enable the versioning or like what encryption, right? All these things which we did when we were creating the S3 bucket, right? So this is more of information, but a thing which you need to see, right? You may have learned different type of storage tiers are there. So what is storage tier? Based on how you wanted to store and retrieve the file, right? There are different types of storage tiers are there in AWS. So which would help you based on, like, if you wanted to frequently access. We will quickly read through these things so that like you'll understand that in detail. So standard, frequently access data more than once a month. with milliseconds. So that like if you are storing the data in standard tier, so this will like you will be able to access the data frequently. Okay, so intelligent tiering, data with the changing and unknown access pattern. So intelligent tiering is like based on, right, you don't know like how frequent you would access the data. So intelligent tiering is kind of an analytic tiering based on the file usage. The file will be moved into like either a standard layer or into the glacier or other layers. So we'll go into another layers to understand what it is. If there is infrequent access data once a month with milliseconds, so that like, so you don't access the data very frequently, right? Like maybe once in a month. So that means like you don't expect this data to be coming super fast, right? So that is where like you will use standard. So one soon is like recreatable infrequent access data with milliseconds. So this is like similar to standard, but there is it is used for the direct category, right? Glacier means like, so if you keep coming down, right, so we are expecting that you don't frequently access the data, right? So long-lived archive data accessed only once in a quarter, right? Then flexible retrieval, and if you go to deep and all, right, this is saying that you don't even access within a year, right? It's like you are archiving and keeping. So the thing is like, if you what you have to understand is on cost. If you think, okay, so I always wanted to get the fastest one, it is not that way. If you go into the standard or intelligent tiering, the costing is different, and if you go to this deeper archive and all these things, it is will be based on storage, but in standard and all it would be based on the access, right? Like how much file you would be retrieving and writing would be the cost would be based on that. So you would be able to choose tiering for each upload. Maybe you can upload either a file or a folder, but you can choose for every upload, you can choose what type you want, so that like AWS will by default categorize these files and put it in the respective locations. Okay, so I'm choosing standard. Hope you understood what is the difference between all these things. If not, please get into or like understand that very high level. Standard is for frequent access, and like intelligent is like decide based on the data access, and rest is like it will be based on the period when you would expect this to be accessed. Yeah, I'm not specifying any encryption key. I can also specify the encryption keys. Okay, I can say default like what is the bucket encryption, or override with it another encryption, so that I can do for every upload. So tag, you can also tag your file separately, not just this thing. So I'm clicking on upload. So my 2.9 MB of file is getting uploaded. Great. So this ChatGPT image which I created is uploaded successful. So what else we can do? You would be able to, yeah, so this is getting loaded, so let that be coming. This is my file, ChatGPT image April 14 PNG file. So you would get the details, right? This is your S3 URL. So what is S3 URL? Suppose you are going to use this file. Think about a CSV or text file or whatever, right? You wanted to load this into a database, so you need that where the files are, right? So that is where like S3 URL would help you. So these informations, whatever object URL, all these things we will learn in the upcoming classes, how where we can use and all these things. I'm not going deep into that. We'll learn how we can now we have this file 2.9, so I can upload additional files here. I can also do some actions. So I'll choose this file. Suppose I think that I can download it, I can move this into a different S3 bucket or file locations and everything. I also have delete option. I'm going to delete this. You can see copy URL. You can directly copy the URL from here. I just copy it and I'm pasting. Yeah, the XML file appear to have any style information associated with the document, because the reason is access denied. You remember I did not allow this bucket as public, right? If it would have been public, I would have got this URL. So this you can take it as an exercise. If you are watching the video and like creating the S3 bucket, I would tell you to try the same copy URL method by enabling this S3 bucket as public while creating the bucket. Okay, so now I'm deleting this file just right away. So this is the bucket. To confirm the deletion, type the permanent delete in the text input. So I need to type permanently delete in this here, so that because it is making sure that it's not a mode, and you are confirming 100% to delete the object. I'm just deleting the object. That means I am not deleting the bucket. Okay, I just deleted the object. There is no objects now, so I'm going to delete my bucket. Okay, so if you go to buckets, so we deleted the files when we were in the files category. So if I have multiple buckets, so it would be shown here 1 2 3 4 5. So I'm selecting this bucket. I have this delete option. So here, if I have to delete my bucket, to confirm the deletion, enter the name of the bucket in the text input field. So I need to provide this name. This is my bucket name, so I need to provide this name here in order to delete this bucket. So let us give this name and delete. So you might be thinking about failure scenarios. I would say you can definitely test that from your side. So how you would be able to, like, what happens if you don't give the right name and all these things. I would like you to explore those options. So now that's created, we do not have any buckets right now. All these buckets are created. We have like circle back into the create bucket. Otherwise, if you would have reached into the S3 bucket page, we would have been in the other page. Hope this is clear. This video is helpful for you. This is the region, and yeah, I hope, like, I did not cover the region part. Did I? Yeah, so AWS region is by default US East Virginia, which you can see it is the same region. You would be able to select here, right? So I just wanted to show you like where this region. So that means like your S3 bucket is created in this region. Okay, yeah, so that's all in this video. Hope this is clear, where like you are able to understand how easy it is to create an S3 bucket. We only took like 5-10 minutes to create and understand end-to-end activities in an S3 bucket. Yeah, thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you.